Black Myth Wukong is not the game you are expecting to be, and that's not a bad thing. But I do want to set your expectations right as it comes to the level of challenge, the amount of exploration, and even the story of the game. So starting with the difficulty of the game. We learned that there will be no as such difficulty options in the game, meaning everyone gets the same experience combined with the fast-paced combat and the many difficult looking bosses. And you will definitely start comparing it with the Souls-like genre. But that's actually not the case, as Black Myth Wukong will be far much more forgiving, like Elden Ring or Lies of P. For starters, if you die, you won't lose all your progress towards your skill point, but only a small percentage, which is, I think, forgiving enough. So it ends up functioning similar to how it works in Respawn's Jedi game, the first one. The skill points you earn aren't spent on stats either, but on new skills or upgrades. Good to know you're able to reset the skill tree if you're not happy with your choices, just like how you respecting in Elden Ring and in Lies of P. Rest, it is not completely Souls-like, but it has elements of it, like resting at a shrine will spawn back all the enemies. Our journalist who went hand-on with the game mentioned that there are very less enemies in between the checkpoints and a boss, at least in the earlier areas. So that means you can completely focus on the boss fight encounters and you don't have to worry as much about respawning enemies before the boss encounters. Now let's talk about the combat of the game. The toughest part in mastering a boss will be perfecting your dodges, so it's good to get a lot of practice with the boss's moveset. Yeah, this is another way of Black Myth Wukong is pretty different from modern action RPGs, as this Monkey King is limited to dodging as if only a defensive action. Okay, to be fair, you can deflect range projectiles with your staff and you can get magical spells that allow you to parry, which is like a bread and butter when it comes to survival. Beyond your dodge, which can be upgraded in various ways, thanks to the skill tree. One particular upgrade I think is pretty valuable is the one that causes dodging causes less stamina. Both attacking and dodging depletes your stamina meter, and once it's empty, you are fucking vulnerable at that stage. Managing your stamina effectively will be your key to success in combat. On top of that, you have various kind of spells that cost your mana and comes with a cooldown, so you don't spam it again and again. But still, freezing an enemy for a brief moment or turning yourself into a rock to deflect their next attack is very useful, just like it's there in Mortal Shell. Moving towards the spells section, the devs said that the spells are added in the game to make the game less punishing. So I expect them to have a pretty major impact on the game. There is reportedly an entire skill tree dedicated to spells, which formulates a key part of your playstyle. There are 3 skill trees in total, one for the magic, one for the Wukong himself, and one for the staff combat. Wukong's skill tree has things like the dodge upgrade, as I've mentioned earlier, or health upgrades, and the most interesting one has to be for his staff, that gives him access to new stances. To start off with the jack of all trade, smash stance, with the quick light attack combos and a heavy overhead smash that deals great damage. You will have to merge light as well as heavy attack combos, as light attacks fills your focus meter for special Wukong attacks. You can do a heavy attack without the focus as well, but in that case it will be a charged attack, which is not ideal as to how fast paced Wukong's combat is. But the cool thing is the heavy attack changes when you switch stances, opening to new amazing possibilities. The second stance you unlock, the pillar stance, allows Wukong to grow its staff. Yeah, sounds double meaning, right? In terms of length and perch. On top of it, making you completely immune to all the ground-based attacks. Isn't it cool? You can then leap off and slam back down with the staff still extended, giving this attack a pretty massive range. The third stance, the thrust stance, can only be unlocked when you are at a higher level, and gives you access to a long-range charge stab with the staff. Of course, these stances can be further upgraded in the skill tree, but it leaves me curious how different these will look in the game and how they will feel. Benefit of pillar stance is very obvious, but smash and thrust are still a little bit vague to me. We'll update you more definitely when I learn more about it. So subscribe to Ninja Nice and you can stay constantly updated with the new gaming content and news. Along with the staff combat and spells, there is another very unique feature that allows you to diversify your moveset, and that is shapeshifting. Yes, I know we have already seen this in Neo, where you can steal enemies' powers through the yokai system. Wukong is taking it to the next level. There are some enemies that after they are defeated, they grant us their form that we can effectively use in combat. Next, the summon forms have their own health bar, which means when you have shape-shifted into a boss, Wukong cannot take any damage. It's like a temporary armor. So all over, it's both an offensive and a defensive tool that will become better with overall course of your playthrough and will of course unlock a lot more forms to take an advantage of in combat. This ability reportedly comes with a pretty lengthy cooldown, so you cannot spam it again and again, and it can be a lifesaver in your gruesome situations. Let's talk about exploration. Actually, as I believe that's a thing where a lot of people are really confused about. Let's get the biggest question out of the way, that we sure know that the game won't be an open world, as this was confirmed by the developers. According to them, don't expect large open areas with dungeons and alike. People who went hands-on with the first couple of hours said that the levels were pretty linear and there was no feel for an interconnected world like in the Souls titles, Jedi Fallen Order as well as the recent Stellar Blade. But with the limited exploration, Black Myth will be pretty rewarding as you can craft your staff using multiple items dropped from the bosses. Different versions of staff sounds way too cool. You will find different versions of your staff throughout your playthrough. Rest, like you, I'm pretty excited to dive in with this awesome journey. This game seems very promising, seriously guys. And I will be able to dive into this game from day one since I have pre-ordered it. So make sure to subscribe to Ninja Nice for more amazing updates. Until then, bye guys. We'll meet you soon again with another awesome video.